Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and in today's video, we got a great show lined up for you today because today we're going to be looking at not only Bitcoin, but we're also going to be looking at Ethereum. As you guys know, we've been very bullish on both of these markets over the last week and a half. We've been talking about why Bitcoin needed to go into a big rally. It's now done that. It's been up $15,000 over just the last 8 to 9 days. But now both markets, Bitcoin and Ethereum, are struggling because there is very important and very strong resistance right above both of them. And at the moment, we need to figure out, are both of these markets going to be able to break through this really important resistance that's right above them or not? Because if we don't, we could start going into a small correction that could lead into something bigger. And we don't want a massive crash here, but we do want consolidation. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see. We got literally dozens of technical factors on both of these charts to throw at you today, guys. We got 3 different news stories, 1 on Bitcoin, 2 on Ethereum. We got a lot to throw at you, and I cannot wait to jump into this stream. As always, if you guys enjoyed today's show, make sure to smash that like button. Let's see if we can't get to 1,000 likes here within the first 10 minutes or so. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I am joined, as always, by the one and only T.A. Tim. How you doing, Tim?
What's up, guys? It's turning into, I think this is going to be a common tradition, Virginia Tech hoodie Fridays to prepare for the weekend in college football.
Pretty sure it's Virginia Tech hoodies every day.
Hey,
That's
it's not.
about right, yeah.
Go back and watch the videos. So how does it feel to have another wrong statements made?
Well, dang.
There's a picture behind you of you wearing the same exact Virginia Tech.
On a Friday.
That's a good point.
On a Friday.
Hey,
Want to know why? Because Fridays are also days that I hold the
Come on, he wore a different hat. Right now, he's wearing a hat of one of the ministries that we support, actually. Shout out to Made for More and
nice
Joel,
hat.
who runs that. We're also joined, as always, by Smay. How are you doing, Smay?
I'm doing good. I'm wearing a better shirt, guys. Go Celtics. But I'd like to thank our newer Jebbi Knights. I would love to thank you guys. We have Bobo the Crypto Hobo.
I love that name.
Thank
That
you
is
so
such
much for being
name.
a member, and thank you so much for choosing that name.
That's a great name.
Crypto Alchemist. Thank you so much for being a member. We love you. And Desert Ghost 87. Thank you guys so much for being a member. It helps us support the channel, help us bring beautiful content to you and your faces. And guys, if you're interested in being a member, there's a link in the description. You will not regret it.
You will not regret it, guys. Those are all 3 of those really cool names. Alchemist, Desert Ghost, Bobo the Crypto Hobo.
Very
Those are
cool.
some awesome. Have you ever noticed how cool people's names are on YouTube? Everybody's always got like, oh, was the first 4,321 of the hidden dragons taken? But nevertheless, I digress. Guys, today's show is brought to you by one of our favorite indicators. It's called Lux Algo. We're going to be looking at it quite a bit in today's show. If you find it to be helpful in the analysis that we do today, you can check the link down below. Get 20% off with the coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, at checkout. With that said, let's go ahead and jump on to Bitcoin because we need to dive straight into these technicals. We have so much to cover. My notes document is literally 7 pages long, guys. We have so much, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's do a quick recap. Bitcoin over the last 9 days has had a massive rally. In fact, in just the span of 7 days, we rallied 36%, $15,000. And the reason that I keep telling you that at the beginning of these shows is because we need to have context. People get very impatient very, very quickly in the cryptocurrency market. Guys, we just increased in value $300 billion in a week. And now we're saying, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's not moving. We've been trading sideways for 2 days. Keep that in mind. We're very bullish. Long-term technicals, incredibly bullish. If you've been watching the show for the last 2 weeks, we are remarkably bullish for the month of October, and nothing said in this stream today changes that. But there are shorter-term technicals that we need to deal with that are not necessarily the most bullish things you've seen in the last little while. We start out on the daily chart with our TD sequential. If you don't know, the TD sequential is what is known as a candlestick counting algorithm. It counts from 1 all the way up to 9, and once it hits 9, that is an indication that the TD sequential is telling us that you need to have a reversal. When there is a red 9 flash where it colors the candlestick red like this, it indicates that you are looking for a movement to the downside. So that's not a very bullish thing. We talk about TD sequential in CT2A. The link to our academy is down below if you want to learn more. But the same candlestick that 9 flash shows up actually tells us something else. Notice there is a long upper shadow here on this candle wick. What that basically means is that over the last what would it be, 14 hours since this daily chart candlestick has opened, The bulls and the bears have been at war. They've been fighting. We saw the bulls push us all the way up to $56,000 overnight, but the bears so far have rejected that, and they have pushed us down $1,500. This long upper shadow means that what we're looking at here on the daily chart is a candlestick formation known as a shooting star. That's not the last time that we're going to see a shooting star in today's technical analysis on these charts, so make sure you don't forget that. Another thing to look at here, guys, is the Bollinger Bands, because as you can see, we are riding the outside of the Bollinger Bands. We said this 2 days ago, and then we also said this yesterday. Right now, we need to look at this because we got outside of the Bollinger Bands. And by the way, guys, I forgot to mention this. We're going over Bitcoin right now. We got about 15 minutes of content here, and then at the top of the hour, we're going to jump into Ethereum, so stay tuned because we got a lot to talk about over there. We're riding the outside of the Bollinger Bands. That is not an incredibly good sign. It means that the market has been incredibly bullish, yes, but for the next couple of days, it does indicate that we need to have a little bit of correction. We need to trade sideways for a little bit. We need to take a pit stop. That's the theme of this show. That's the narrative we're telling you guys. We need to take a little bit of a breather. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, and the Bollinger Bands support that. Now, one of the things to keep in mind, guys, and I'm going to keep sprinkling this throughout because whenever I talk about the bearish factors, people are always like, oh, Jebb's spreading FUD. Jebb's trying to get me to sell my Bitcoin. No, that's not what I'm trying to get you to do. What I'm trying to get you to do is to understand what the market is doing so that you can be fully informed, because it's our dream for you to become financially free. We want you to be financially free, and the way that we help you along that journey is by showing you both sides of the story, even when one of those sides is unpopular. But one of the things that reminds you that we are still very bullish on the longer term is the simple fact that there is a strong buy signal on the daily chart for Lux Algo. That is a good sign, because if you look back on the history of this market, Lux Algo has called pretty much all of these rallies. Remember, guys, we are brought to you today by Lux Algo. They are a sponsor of this channel, but they would not be a sponsor of this channel if I didn't believe in the product. I use this product every single day, and I do personally endorse it. You can find the link down below. We are still bullish there, and that's something that you definitely want to keep in mind. Now, I also want to mention one thing that we brought up yesterday, because it's incredibly important that if we're going to go into a small correction here, that we know where that correction might lead to. And that is where we come in with these two levels. I'm going to go ahead and draw this top level as blue because it represents support. And this level I am drawing based on the previous local high that we can see right here that was set back on September the 7th. Now, the other level that I'm going to draw as support is coming from none other than the Fibonacci retracement. Now, if we were to retrace to the golden pocket, then we would see Bitcoin pull down to 46,000. I think that is highly unlikely, but Bitcoin retracing to the 23.6% region is much, much more in the cards. So if that were to occur, then that means that there is a zone of support between the 23.6% level and the previous local high right here, meaning that any small correction here on the 4-hourly chart has a strong catchment area of support right there. And on top of that, guys, looking out at the daily chart, another reason why this zone of support makes so much sense is because it is a dearth in the VPVR. It is the bottom of the valley on the VPVR. Remember, when we're looking at VPVR, we want to look at this like a mountain. We want to look at this like a hill. Whenever you're at the top of the hill, what do? You roll down the hill. What we just did is we got to the top of the hill at $55,500, $56,000, and we said, I'm not going to roll that way. I'm going to roll this way. And we started rolling bearish instead of bullish. Where is the bottom of the hill? Where's the valley? You pour a bucket of water on top of a mountain, it's gonna flow down to the bottom of the mountain and into a valley. The valley right now is sitting right here in this little pocket, this little zone that I showed you between 52.4, 52.3, and 53,000. That is what the VPVR is showing. So if we do go into a correction like we said, then that's where we're going to find ourselves pulling back to. But you already know that because we talked about that yesterday. So let's keep moving here. On the 4-hourly chart, there is something very, very, very important that you don't want to miss, and it is this. There is currently a massive rising wedge forming on the 4-hourly chart. You can see it right here. We have this long uptrending level of support that resistance that frankly previously did kind of act as resistance. And what we see also is that there is a very steep uptrending level of support that is holding up this gigantic rally. And right now it is forming what is known as a giant rising wedge. If you guys don't know, we talk about rising wedges in CT2A. The link for that's down below. Rising wedges almost always break to the downside. And by the way, the steeper the rising wedge, the more likely it is they're going to break to the downside. This is a very steep rising wedge. I'm expecting this is going to break to the downside and go where? Probably into this zone that we just drew a second ago. That's why I set that up for you. So it's important that you look at that. But there are some things that are bullish here on the 4-hourly chart. So again, I want to make sure that we're looking at both sides. Number one, we are still bullish on Lux Algo. Lux Algo had a strong buy signal that literally called this entire rally. Talk about a great signal. Again, that's one of the reasons why I love this indicator. But there are other reasons that we want to look here, and one of them has to do with what is known as the money flow. Guys, Market Cipher is another indicator that we use that has been incredibly helpful in our trading and our technical analysis, and it has a component of it called the money flow. You can see it moving along right here. The money flow is a measure of where the money is going, and this indicator is basically telling us that there's a lot of money flowing into the cryptocurrency space right now. That's a very good sign. So that both of those things, Market Cipher and Lux Algo, are both giving us good signals. Here's the thing, though. Technically speaking, there are a couple of bad signals showing up on the 4-hourly. For one, there is some bearish RSI divergence that I can show you. Take a look at these tops up here. What in the world did my chart just do? My chart just completely glitched out. Give me just a second, guys. What the heck? My chart is gone. What just happened?
It's done that to me a couple times.
Let me reload really quickly.
The heck?
Sorry
The
about that,
chart
guys.
disappeared.
My chart just disappeared. I don't know what happened. What I was saying is down here on the 4-hourly chart, take a look at our RSI. There is a downtrending level of resistance here on the RSI and an uptrending level of resistance here on the 4-hourly chart. That's what's known as bearish RSI divergence. That is a bearish sign, and it also supports the idea that this rising wedge could break to the downside, pull us down into this zone of support. So that is what the 4-hourly chart looks like. There's a couple things I want to show you on the hourly chart, mainly that the RSI divergence on the 4-hourly also shows up on the hourly. You can see the downtrend right there, the uptrend right there. Again, calling for a movement to the downside. MACD is about to have a bearish cross down here on the 1-hourly chart. So that is pretty much all I have to show you on the technical side of Bitcoin, and I'll go ahead and draw a conclusion for you because I know I just ran my mouth for 8 minutes and threw like 30 technicals at you. That's for all of the people who are crazy enough to listen to me on 2x speed that just want to get all the information. Let me wrap that all up into a nice, neat bow for you, and then we got some fundamentals that we want to talk about. Essentially, what's going on here with Bitcoin is it has undergone a massive, massive rally. It rallied $15,000 in the span of a week. That is the kind of thing that happens in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Welcome to crypto if you're new here. Drop a 1 if you've been here for less than 6 months. We love our crypto noobs. It's our job to educate you guys. That's why we come here every single day. We want to serve you and help you become financially free. What we just saw is a $15,000 rally, and Bitcoin needs to take a pit stop. Bitcoin needs to have a controlled burn, if you will. I use the analogy all the time. The Forest Service in America learned that if you don't have controlled burns and you don't have forest fires every once in a while, then over the span of 10, 20, 30, 40 years, then what happens is you get a bunch of dead debris building up on the forest floor, and then lightning strikes and the whole thing's a tinderbox and it all goes up in flames. What you instead want is you want to have a controlled burn every couple of years so that you can clear out all the dead at the bottom of the forest floor and allow for the forest to be much healthier. That's what we need to see right now on Bitcoin. We don't need to see a forest fire, but we do want to see a controlled burn. A forest fire would be a drop down to 45, 43, 41. We don't want to see that. That would be bad. But what we do want to see is a drop down to 52 to 53, maybe even down to 50,000. That's another level of support. Shows up on the Fibonacci. There's a lot of reasons for that. Bitcoin has undergone a massive rally, and for it to continue this healthy growth, which is going on right now, in accordance with all the bullish fundamentals, it needs to have a small correction, and that's what we're seeing over the next several days. I'm expecting that we're going to have sideways movement and slightly bearish movement over the next 3 to 4 days, probably moving into the middle part of next week, and then Bitcoin is going to catch some bullishness and it's going to rally. But it needs to have a small correction. I'm telling you this from 2 angles. Number 1, it needs to, and number 2, it's likely to. Those are 2 different things. Bitcoin can need to do whatever it wants, but if it's not likely to do that, then it doesn't matter. 1, it needs to have a small correction, because if it doesn't, then this rally no longer remains healthy. Number 2, it is likely to, based on all the technicals I just showed you, where it's probably going to pull back to around 52.3 to $53,000 flat in that zone, maybe even a little bit lower. Trade sideways, consolidate. We're going to see more volume come in, and then things are going to be very bullish. But with that said, we actually have a very interesting article here, and then we're going to jump into Ethereum here in about 10 minutes, so make sure you stay tuned for that. By the way, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, make sure to smash that like button. Let me check real quick. How many likes do we have? We have 562 likes with 3,000 people watching. I know that we can get to 1,000 likes here in the next couple of minutes, guys. Smash that like button. It helps out the channel very much. Thank you very much for that. But the article I want to show you here is this. and it's over on Bitcoinist. Miners transfer a never-before-seen amount of Bitcoin to exchanges. It's this chart right here. Now, here is a chart showing the trend in the metric over the last few years. Take a look at this. This chart basically shows how miners have transferred Bitcoin into exchanges. Right now, they have transferred an exorbitant amount of Bitcoin into exchanges, a record amount of Bitcoin onto exchanges. What does this mean? Well, you got to realize a lot of the miners missed the top in 2017, and a lot of the miners missed the top in 2021. When we hit $20,000 in 2017, most of the miners started selling around $3,000, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000. A lot of them didn't expect for the blow-off top to rally us all the way to $20K. I was in the space back in 2017, and I vividly remember everybody thought we were going to go to $10,000 and stop. But what happened was we saw the market rally to $10,000, the FOMO took over, and within 3 weeks, we were sitting at twice that level. And the miners missed that. They sold early. Same thing happened in 2021. We rallied above 20,000. Everybody said, oh, we're going to go to 40,000. That's where we're going to go, and then we're going to top out, and then we're going to trade sideways for 3 months. A lot of people thought that we weren't going to be able to sustain that massive rally. So a lot of these miners, they sold early. They sold at $40,000, $42,000, $35,000. They didn't sell at 65. They didn't sell the top because they sold too early. They FOMO'd it out of their Bitcoin, and they didn't make as much profit as they would like. So I don't think this is a bearish thing, even though it might seem like that on the surface, that the miners are moving a lot of Bitcoin and crypto to exchanges. I think the miners are getting ready because they expect that there's going to be a blow-off top and a massive rally, and they want to be positioned to sell if we see a gigantic rally to $100,000 overnight. But it doesn't look like they're necessarily selling just yet. Tim, I know you read this article and have some takes on it. What do you think about this?
Kelly and I actually discussed this in depth, and here's the thing. The first thought that crossed your brain is, oh my gosh, look at all-time high of the amount of crypto being moved from traders onto exchanges. Oh no, like let's run for the hills. But just take a second and look at that chart. Every single time you see a spike, first of all, a lot of times there's actually like a recoil. Like within the next little bit, we actually see a lot of miners taking them off the exchanges. Second of all, you do not see a spike in that and then an immediate price decrease. You might see a small correction just because people are like, hey, what the heck just happened? But a lot of times it's actually early, if not the middle of the bull run. When you look at, and it went back to me, Jebb, are you back on the screen?
No, but I can't.
Okay, you go back to the screen real quick, and I'm going to see it in delay.
I am on it.
If you look at them, they're not late in the bull runs. Go back and look at what it does in 2019, what it does in 2017. They're not late in the bull run. They're actually at the latest in the middle, if not in the beginning of them. So this is not an indication of, hey guys, the bull run's over. The miners think we're done. Go ahead and take profit. This is, as even Kelly was kind of really putting, he's like, this just kind of shows the miners want to make sure they're in a good position so that when they choose they want to take profit, they will. It does not mean that they are going to tomorrow and Bitcoin's done for the year.
Yeah, no, absolutely, guys. Here's the deal. A lot of these miners understand that we're about to go into a big rally. And the miners, as Kelly put it this morning, and if you don't know who Kelly is, go follow him on Twitter, @KellyKellum. Kelly, drop your handle in chat. He is one of the people on our research team. Thank you very much to Kelly for helping to bring this show to you every single morning. He is under the opinion that, and I'm under the opinion, that a lot of these miners are getting positioned in case there is a giant blow-off top and we rally above 100K or, above all-time high in the next couple of months. They want to be ready, but that doesn't mean they're selling. We don't have necessarily data that they're selling, but we do have data that they are moving cryptocurrency onto exchanges. So here is the TLDR on Bitcoin. Massive rally, needs a correction, long-term bullish, next 4 days trading sideways / bearish. There you go. Boom. Wrap the whole 15-minute segment up into a bow because I want you guys to be able to walk away with simplicity. If you want to understand why those 4 things are true, scrub back 15 minutes in the show. With that said, guys, we actually have a sponsor for this channel, for this show, and I want to go ahead and read you a couple things about him because we've already done some business with him and we're really, really excited for him. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you about Lorenzo, who is a CPA. He has been in the business for over 10 years and he's been doing cryptocurrency taxes since 2016. Lorenzo's clients include everyday investors, traders, developers, NFT creators, and resellers, people who have created their own coins, businesses that accept cryptocurrency, and more. And we've also had many people here on the Crypto Jebb channel work with him. The reason why you might want to do that is because if you're in cryptocurrency and you want financial advice, YouTube's not the place to go. I'm not a financial advisor. He is, and he is able to help you with your taxes, which is a nightmare for most people in cryptocurrency. Lorenzo's company mission revolves around creating a plan that not only benefits you today, but for generations to come. A common quote of his is, the more you know, the less taxes you owe. I really like that because that plays into what we say about education, absolutely. And he also acts as a financial coach to teach clients as they progress through life and business. Now's the perfect time to work with a CPA, guys. Look, here's the deal. There's 3 months left in the year, not even. Tax season is coming up, and you have to be able to report your taxes correctly so you're not subject to liabilities. In addition, there are several strategies that he can use and implement with you that'll help benefit you for tax season and beyond. Lorenzo Tax has a special promotion for all Crypto Jebb subscribers. Click the link in our description for a free 15-minute crypto tax consultation to discuss how you can potentially reduce your gains to zero. He's been very helpful for a lot of our viewers, so make sure to check him out. The link is down below. With that said, let's go ahead and read some super chats because I know we got some. Thank you guys very much for all of them. Let's go ahead and respond. We got 5 minutes. That's 4. We got 5 minutes, and then we're going to jump into our Ethereum technical analysis, so stay tuned and smash that like button.
All right, we got one from Johnny Tavares, and he said, virtual spliff for my 88 gang. Stay strong, Jebb and crew. We all thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Spliff. That's
Boom.
a good word. What does the word spliff even mean?
Spliff? That sounds like a word that like a kindergartner makes up.
I don't know. I feel like it has a good meaning. I don't know. Micah, okay, this is a good one. Here we go. Micah Vandenbrolle.
Micah Vandenbrolen.
Didn't even want to say anything, just wanted to donate and be a part of the team. So
yeah, there you go.
Thank you so much, Micah. Crypto Alchemist said, love the gear, Smay. Wow, he's one of those. Watching you guys from the firehouse just outside of Boston. Hope for a meetup in some time. Hashtag Jebbi Nights. I'm sorry,
sir.
Crypto Alchemist. That sounds like a horrible place to.
No, it's the. I mean, I'm not a Patriots
Listen,
fan,
man,
but it's the city of champions,
I've been
guys.
to Boston.
Let's go.
It's definitely not the city of champions. That's just Tom Brady.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm sorry.
But the Celtics have 17 championships. So
When was the last one?
2008.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, when was the last? When was the last Virginia Tech championship?
When was the last West Virginia championship?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
West Virginia doesn't know the
You
definition
haven't
of
won either.
championship.
Anyway,
Neither does Virginia.
Anyway, unless all right, we just got another one from. Well, no, we did not. Sorry. I'm gonna go back in chat to make sure we didn't get one, so to make sure I wasn't falling behind with Shannon. I think that might have been all of them. So what I might just do is take a second. We can breathe. Let's see. I know a lot of people are very, very, very excited for Ethereum TA because we haven't done. When was the last time we did Ethereum TA on Coffee and Crypto?
It was
Live?
a while. It might have been last week, to be honest with you.
If you guys want more consistent, we've been doing a lot of Ethereum in our segment every night called Crypto Bites.
Yep.
So if you have never heard of that show,
Yep.
or it's just a video that we post. It's usually how long? What, 6, 7?
5, 6, 7 minutes, somewhere around there.
We've been doing a lot of Ethereum stuff over there. So make
Yep.
sure every single night, Monday through Friday, you guys are watching for Crypto Bites. We did just have another 2 chats come in.
Yep.
One from Eric Liddell saying a spliff is a joint with tobacco mixed with marijuana.
my God.
The chat's been
Oh
blowing
Now you
my
know, G.I. Joe.
gosh.
The chat's been blowing
Listen,
up saying these guys are innocent.
If this wasn't evidence enough to say that we don't do drugs here,
Not even I knew about it.
that's that right there was the evidence.
There you
of
go.
it.
There's your evidence.
Yoma
No
Yellow
idea.
said, "Love y'all. I've been trying to get my friend into crypto, but don't want to misinform or lead him to FOMO. How would you tell him if he knows nothing? I want to help him out."
Okay,
Buy
listen.
Bitcoin.
Okay, listen. Eyes on me. You watch it. Okay, good. Tell him to sell his house, sell his wife, sell his kids, and buy Bitcoin. I'm kidding. Please don't do that.
Please no.
Please be responsible. Look, here's what you need to tell him.
Did you say so?
Get into Bitcoin, get into cryptocurrency with money that you're willing to lose. So make sure that you're willing to lose any money that you get into cryptocurrency with. That's what I would tell you. And, get started with dollar cost averaging. Buy a little bit now, buy a little bit later. That's the best way to do it.
We just had a donation from Mattis Galambosi. I actually think I'm right on this one. I could be way off.
Matis Galambossi.
Best fast TA Jebbi Knight for 15 PCM. Love channel.
Oh, thank you very much.
He was a question mark. PCM. What's PCM?
I don't know. I'm worried it's another thing that we don't know.
Goodness. All right, we got 2 more. Katie at 2 cents said, "Let's go Celtics again." Another sad person in chat. Crypto
Celtics
Lifer said,
suck.
"Love y'all. Let Greg know the deal."
Yeah. What's up, Greg?
Hey, Greg, the deal.
Greg, the deal.
Michael, aka Freakers.
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 How would you rank upcoming rally move? Bitcoin, Ethereum, 88, and XRP, and then the rest coming after that.
Bitcoin is probably going to be the one to lead it just because there's so much FOMO in the space right now, and a lot of the noobs are getting into Bitcoin, but Ethereum would be close behind, and then I think the altcoins. I don't think the altcoin's going to lead this one, personally.
Well, so what's the time frame that he's asking? Are we talking about the next week? Or are we talking about the next month,
I'm assuming
3
he's
months?
talking about the next, 4 weeks, but that is an assumption.
Yeah, I think over the next short term, I think Bitcoin leads there. Here's the thing. Again, I've said this before. I am not as bullish as probably my 2 friends sitting here next to me about XRP. That doesn't mean I don't think XRP is going to have massive movement. So if we're talking longer time frame, I do think XRP potentially could be, when you talk about the top projects, you disregard the smaller altcoins that just blow up for no reason. Of the bigger projects, I think XRP of these 4 might actually lead the pack over the next couple months.
Yeah.
Are we gonna move on?
Yep. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump on into some Ethereum technical analysis. We are very excited to tell you what is about to happen on Ethereum, or at least what we think is about to happen on Ethereum. If you're enjoying today's show, smash that like button. I know we can get 1,500 likes here in the next couple of minutes. If you're new here, make sure to tune in 9:30 Eastern Standard every single day, because that's when we go live here with Coffee and Crypto. Tell 10 of your friends, if you're enjoying the show, to come and tune in and give us a try. With that said, let's go ahead and jump back onto my screen. We're going to talk about Ethereum. Guys, I know you want to know where Ethereum is going. I do too, because I'm a big holder of Ethereum, and we're going to go ahead and break it all down right now. You can see all of these trend lines here on my chart, and we're actually going to start by redrawing them. Let's go out to the daily chart. You see these 5 trend lines. Delete. Let's start from scratch. What do we need to know? Well, first and foremost on Ethereum, remember, we've undergone a pretty large rally here in just the last little while. We rallied 30% in 9 days. Not quite as big or as fast as Bitcoin, but we have had a large rally. But there are several trend lines that we need to be looking at. Namely, there is a trend line right here of resistance that I want to show you. This trend line of resistance looks like this. It's a downtrend from our all-time high to our local high, and then it also shows up over here. We're going to get back to that in just a second. But another trend line that I want to show you is not quite as obvious, and it shows up on the 4-hourly chart. If you connect all of these highs right here, then what you effectively get is another trend line of resistance. And both of these resistance levels right now look like they are converging in the next couple of weeks. And they are also giving us resistance between 3750 and 3900. On top of that, we have a flat level of resistance that we can draw right here based on our previous local high. And this is actually really interesting because a side note that we're going to come back to here in just a second is that this is what is known as the shoulder line of a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern. There could be a head and shoulders pattern forming here on Bitcoin, but again, we're going to come back to that in a second. The next two trend lines I want to draw you show up on the hourly chart, and they look a little something like this. There's an uptrending level of resistance on Ethereum right now and an uptrending level of support on Ethereum right now. So what's the point here? Well, here's the deal. There is quite a bit of resistance above Ethereum. There's a flat level of resistance, there's this uptrend, and there's this downtrend. So you could say that there is a zone of resistance here on Ethereum between about 36.75 and a little bit higher up towards 38.50. And if we look back on the daily chart and take a look at our VPVR, we can get some information here. Notice there isn't a lot of VPVR resistance above us, but there is a little peak of VPVR resistance sitting at $3,900, which is the top of this. So this is our zone of resistance that Ethereum is currently contending with. Furthermore, if we look back down to the hourly chart, this rising wedge is actually of the utmost importance. Again, we talked about this on Bitcoin, but this rising wedge on Ethereum is very steep. This is a pretty steep rising wedge. A lot of times you don't find them this steep. Here's the deal. Rising wedges typically break to the downside, and technically speaking, you would draw a price target like this with the downtrend that led into it, and then you would use that as a price target with a price target of 2,700. Pause. I don't think we're going to 2,700. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, technically speaking, this rising wedge would be predicting that bearish of a movement, if not more. So keep that in mind. I think that we're going to break bearish out of this, but we're going to come back to that here in just a second. I want to jump back out to the daily chart and start running through our technicals so we have all of our information, and then we can start drawing our conclusions. One of the first things I want to show you is that the volume right now on Ethereum is absolutely minuscule. We zoom out and look at what was going on earlier on this year. Volume is tiny, but even if we zoom in over just the last couple of weeks, you can see that the volume has still been declining. Why? Well, Ethereum right now is in a rising wedge. A rising wedge is a form of a symmetrical triangle pattern. It's just slanted. Triangle patterns And wedges typically lose volume as you move through them, as you lose volatility. Now, right now, we're moving to the upside quickly, but we're actually slowing down on volatility, so that's important to keep in mind. This volume moving to the downside indicates that there's consolidation, that there's constriction going on in the market, and eventually there's going to be a breakout either to the downside or the upside, and the volume should come back with a vengeance. Once it does, we're going to have a much better understanding of what we're going to see next. Furthermore, looking here at the TD sequential, we can see right now we're sitting on an 8. We will likely be seeing a 9 on TD sequential if we start going to the upside anymore, or if we basically even trade sideways, and a 9 flash could very well lead to us having a bigger movement to the downside, breaking bearish out of this rising wedge. Remember, we looked at the exact same thing on Bitcoin over here, and we still have this massive shooting star on BTC that we don't want to ignore. So that TD sequential flash coming in could be very bad. Another thing to look at here is the fact that the MACD has started to converge bearish. You can see this right here. MACD is starting to converge bearish. That's not a good sign. It could be the beginning of a larger movement to the downside that could last several days. Moving on here. Another thing I want to show you here on the daily chart is pretty interesting. On the daily chart, notice what these candlesticks look like. We have very large upper shadows here on these candlesticks, very long lower shadows, and very small bodies. Now, you guys might know from some of our candlestick analysis videos over in CT2A that this is a very important sign. It basically means that the strength of the bulls that were moving very fast all of a sudden are not as strong. Think about like in a war. Let's say in a war you're moving 50 miles a day. Like you're just moving super fast. You're moving really, really fast. That's what the bulls were doing. They were moving really, really, really quickly. But now, over the last 3 days or so, the bears, they've started fighting back, and those bears are like, no, you're not going to move any farther. We're going to put up more resistance. The fact that there's so many candle wicks that are massive like this and not very many candle bodies indicates that there's more fighting going on between the bulls and the bears. We're moving to the upside, which means if there's fighting going on and we're moving to the upside, that there must be bearish fighting coming into play more so than there was a week ago. These wicks like this and these small bodies over the last 3 days indicate that there's a lot of fighting going on and that it is the bears that are coming in more strong now than they were a week ago. That is a very important trend that I don't want you to miss. Moving on to the 4-hourly chart, there is something else here that is not very bullish, and it is this fact. There is some quite substantial bearish RSI divergence. You can see a downtrend on the RSI right here, uptrend on the price action chart right here. That is classical bearish RSI divergence, and it does say that we're going to break to the downside, which makes sense because we have this rising wedge right here to contend with. Furthermore, there is currently a shooting star formation that just formed on the 4-hourly chart. Take a look at this candlestick. Long upper shadow, minuscule body. Again, looking at our candlestick analysis, that's not a good sign. What does that mean? That basically entails that we just saw a massive blow off top, and the bulls tried to rally, and they tried, and they wanted to rally, and they just couldn't. The bears came in, and they rejected us. Also, take a look at these 3 candlesticks right here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What are those? Well, those are, I don't even know what the name of that candlestick formation is. I don't even know if that has a technical name, but when you see candlesticks do this, 2 small red candlesticks followed by a big red candlestick, that is generally a very bearish sign. Of course, we did see probably what was a small short squeeze right here, a big rally, but I'm not being very confident on that. Another thing to look at here, and I have to figure out where it is right here. There is a spinning top that happened on the market just a couple days ago. Right here, we had a long upper shadow, long lower shadow, small body, equivalent size upper shadow and lower shadow. That indicates indecision in the market. That indicates that the bulls and the bears are at a deadlock. You don't want to be at a deadlock when you are moving to the upside because that means that you're moving in the bearish direction. It means that the bears are gaining strength. So that is some candlestick analysis on the hourly chart that will give you some context. Now, let's talk about this potential inverse head and shoulders pattern, because I think it's really important. This inverse head and shoulders pattern looks like this. We have a left shoulder, a right shoulder. We saw the same thing forming on Bitcoin before. It looked like this, but we didn't end up following through. What is happening on Ethereum right now? Frankly, it looks to me like we're going to break to the downside here and we're going to come down. There is more bearishness in the market right now than there was 4 days ago. If we do, then there's a very obvious level of support right here at 31.75 based on 3 bottoms over here, 1, 2, 3, and 2 tops right here, 1, 2. If Ethereum does break bearish out of this symmetrical, out of this rising wedge here, then the likely level that it would come down to is about $3,150, $3,175, somewhere around there. That's frankly what I think is going to happen over the next little while, unless Bitcoin has something to say about it. If Bitcoin goes into a massive blast off and rallies really far, then of course it's going to drag Ethereum with it. But right now, I think based on everything I've just shown you, Ethereum is going to break bearish. It's going to reject from 36.75, and we're going to pull down to 31.75. But the good news is, from there, I think we're going to bounce and we're going to rally, and it's going to end up being an inverse head and shoulders pattern that's very bullish. And by the way, that inverse head and shoulders pattern has a price target of $4,700. So I do think that October is going to be a very bullish month, but I think we're going to see that correction first. Just a couple of things to show you here on the hourly chart before we move on to some news, some bullish news, by the way, you'll be happy about. There is also Rsi Divergence showing up on the hourly chart. You can see a downtrend on the RSI right here, uptrend on the price action up here, and the final thing I want to show you is that there was just a bearish MACD cross, and the MACD is generally in a downtrend towards that zero level on the histogram. So that's what I wanted to show you on the Ethereum technicals. Let's get a TLDR on this, because again, I know I just threw a bunch of technicals at you, and if you're not, haven't been doing technical analysis in the market every single day for 4 years like I have, that was a lot. Here's the simple way of putting this. Ethereum's in a rising wedge. Those rising wedges typically break to the downside. There's a lot of analysis that supports the idea that we're going to see a rejection from $3,700. If we do, then Ethereum's probably going to pull down to about $3,150 to $3,175 and bounce. And from there, it's likely that Ethereum will move into an inverse head and shoulders pattern and go into a big rally. Essentially, reason to believe we're going to move to the downside, reason to believe we'll bounce, reason to believe we're going to have a big rally following that, and then all of that is contingent on what Bitcoin has to say about it. Bitcoin could come in and throw things off because, of course, Bitcoin likes to throw its weight around, but if Ethereum is left to its own devices, that's what the technical analysis is saying is most likely. With that said, there's a bullish and a bearish story I want to bring to you here. One of them has to do with the total value locked in DeFi, because the total value locked in DeFi on Ethereum just crossed $200 billion for the first time. Excuse me, not in Ethereum's DeFi, but in DeFi in general. Ethereum is sitting around $140 billion. Take a look here at this graph from DeFiLlama.com. If you guys don't know DeFi Llama, this is an incredible website for looking at how much money is locked in the decentralized finance ecosystem. Currently, the value locked in DeFi is sitting at $209 billion. At the beginning of this year, it was $20 billion. If you want to talk about a bullish fundamental that says Ethereum is going to rally and that the cryptocurrency market is doing very well, look no farther than here. Crossing a simple numerical value like $200 billion is not going to cause a bunch of FOMO. It's not going to cause a giant rally, but it does remind us that the fundamentals right now are remarkably strong because DeFi is growing. $200 billion, $210 billion locked in DeFi. I want to say about 145 of that is locked in Ethereum. Ethereum has 141, actually. $142 billion locked in DeFi, and that is continually growing. That's in NFT projects. Those are in decentralized applications. Those are in decentralized exchanges. Those are in what will eventually be staking when Ethereum 2.0 comes online. So there's a lot of money locked in DeFi, and we're very, very excited about that. But there is one thing that is not necessarily very bullish, and that's this. Ethereum price options, all 250 million in bearish bets for Friday are underwater. Bears are in deep trouble. I said bearish, I meant bullish. Bears are in deep trouble as Ethereum bulls are likely to pocket $115 million from Friday's options expiry. If we scroll down here, you can see between $3,100 and $3,300, there is a ton of bearish. There's a ton of bulls that would get wrecked. But if we stay up right around where we are right now, a lot of the bears are going to get wrecked, and the bulls are going to end up pocketing a lot of money. You guys have seen this show up. I mean, we're almost always looking at options contracts expiring, and when they do, there is normally a pretty big movement in the price. And right now, $250 million of neutral to bearish put options are going to likely be rendered worthless. So the good news is this could be one of the things that lead us to move to the upside. I believe these are expiring on, let's see, they are expiring on, Tim, did you read this article? I forget, when are these expiring? Let's see here.
I'm pretty sure it's today.
I'm pretty sure they're today, aren't they? Because they normally expire on Friday. So I'm pretty sure this is today, guys. So keep an eye on this. This could be something that is, here we go. This is on October 8th, so that's today. This could be one of the things that throws off our analysis and could cause a rally to the upside. If we do see a movement to the upside, it's likely as a result of those option contracts expiring. But if the technical analysis has anything to say about it, we're likely going to be doing what we said earlier. So with all that said, there are very bullish reasons to believe that a massive rally is coming on Ethereum. I want to be clear, guys. Everything that we just discussed in this video is talking about the next 2, 3, 4 days of bearishness on Ethereum, maybe the next week and a half or so, because it's going to take a little bit longer to pull back there. And frankly, it might not even pull all the way down to 3175. The overall sentiment in the market is pretty bullish. But the fact is, there are short-term bearish technicals, and we want to make sure that those are understood. So guys, we're going to jump into some discussion here in about 5 minutes, but let's go ahead and read some super chats. Before we do, I do want to remind you this show is brought to you by LuxAlgo. It's one of our favorite indicators. Drop a 1 in chat if you started using LuxAlgo, and it's been very helpful for you. It helps us supplement our technical analysis. Our technical analysis. It's not a replacement for technical analysis, but it does help in our technical analysis endeavors, and it's one thing that I would definitely recommend. You can find the link down below. Let's read some super chats, because I know we have a bunch.
We do have a bunch. We do have a new member, though, and great name. Phil Ossifer.
That's an awesome name.
Welcome to the Jebb Younglings, Phil Ossifer.
I'm sorry, but I gotta say that's not as good as Velociraptor. I gotta say, there's only one name better, but Philosopher. Pretty good.
Okay, man, let's go easy on the laugh track here. All right,
Kelly, on the laugh track. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can't hear it. Kelly Kellum said some hopium. Click the image to show the 3 cycles.
What do you say?
He put a link in one of the super chats. Kelly, I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna go ahead and say like we'll chat later. If you guys see that going back in the super chats, click it. I'm sure. Yeah, it's Twitter. It's one of his Twitter posts. So go to Kelly.
Make sure to follow Kelly on Twitter. He's got a ton of awesome stuff over there.
All right, we got one from Abdullah Safar. Do you expect the bull market will? He says end, but I'm pretty sure it says end in December, or will there be an extension until next year?
I think it's going to continue into next year. I don't think that we're going to see. I don't think that we're going to see major bear markets like we have seen in the past. I think we're going to see periods of sideways movement, periods of consolidation, periods of 20, 30, 40, 50% drops. I don't think we're going to see 85% drops like we have in the past, and I still think that the bear market is going to take a lot longer than... I think if we're going to see a bear market, it's probably going to be in Q2 of next year, because I think it's going to take time for us to get up to those all-time high numbers and $150,000, $200,000 like we think we're going to.
We got one from Billy... Okay, Billy McClappin. I don't know. What's up from Mississippi? Hut 8 is underperforming the cycle. I invested a lot. Should I change from Mara, Bitfarms, etc., or should I just stay where I'm at?
I don't know, because I don't use either of those products, so I couldn't tell you.
Let's see. We'll keep moving on. We got Matt. Okay. Matt, I'm just going to say Matt. By far, best crypto channel on YouTube. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Matt.
God, that one I just wasn't even going to try.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh. I think they did it again today, where they literally just decided, hey, those of us in chat with the most difficult names
They're
to say,
donating just to mess with Tim. I love it.
Kyriakos Giannakos.
Look, the reason I love this is because we get money and I get to watch Tim struggle. Those are like my 2 favorite things in the world.
Listen, I've watched the show when I'm out and you guys struggle just as hard. I just have the unfortunate job of having to be the main reader of these things. Anyway, he said, hello, Jebb. Love the show. The 3 red candles on the 3 red and the 3 black crows from candlestick pattern names.
Those aren't 3 black crows. I wanted to call them that, but they're not black crows because 3 black crows are normally the same size and they don't have an upper wick. Those did have upper wicks and they're not all the same size. They look like... To the untrained eye, they kind of look like 3 black crows, but they're actually not. They're something else. I'm not sure what they're called, but 3 black crows would look a little bit different than that. I think we have a video on 3 black crows and 3 white soldiers in CT2A. No, I know we do. We have an introduction to candlestick analysis video over there where we talk about that.
Yeah, we got another one from Katia Toussaint saying public is adding crypto. This is bullish. And this is what we were talking about. This public.
Oh, public.com. Yeah. I saw that.
Yep, we were talking about this morning. I think we have an article in our planning document, even if we didn't read through it. That I agree with you. We won't go into detail, but Caddy, I agree with you. That is really big.
Yeah.
We got one from Geoffrey Fritz saying, "Good morning. Remember, all keep." I don't know. I feel like something got messed up here because it just says, "Good morning. Remember, all keep BWE."
Well, thank you.
I don't know, man. I don't know what that one means. The J Park 5 said, "Morning, Jebb, Tim, and King Smay." Oh, we got a Smay fan.
Let's go.
Look at StormX, STMX, please. Crypto cashback company and a sponsor of the Portland Trailblazers. I don't think we're going to do it on the show, but we'll keep that in mind for future. See. making sure we don't have
They
anything
blaze
else.
the trail to losing.
We have
That's all I
a
have to say.
wow.
Oof.
Coming from the Celtics. We have a new member saying
17 championships.
Obi-Wan Dahomey, aka
That's a
Beskar Batman,
great name.
just
Oh
joined
my
the Jedi
gosh.
Younglings.
That is an
Love it.
amazing name.
All right.
Obi-Wan Dahomey.
Oh man.
Welcome. That's hilarious.
We have more super chats explaining what a spliff is.
Oh, gosh.
Kenneth Gardner just wants to make sure we know that.
Thank
as
you,
well.
Kenneth Gardner. We know now.
We have one from Michael, aka Freakers, saying, "Yeah, it's Freakers."
Freakers. Shout out to you, Freakers.
Just one just came in. I think this is gonna be the last one we're able to read for this part of it. Devrick Reyes.
Reyes. Come on, that was an easy one.
Hey,
It's like
hey,
Efren
I'm trying to
Reyes.
read here.
The only reason I know that is because Efren Reyes was the all-time the GOAT of pool, and his name
If
is
the
Efren Reyes.
giant Bitcoin wedge breaks down, wouldn't that turn it into a giant channel, which would call for another breakdown? So,
Yeah, Tim, go ahead and respond to that.
actually, here's the thing. For a while, I was actually doing. So Jebb normally is doing technical analysis on the logarithmic chart. I was doing some technical analysis on the linear chart. So this ascending wedge that we're looking at on the log chart, if you change it and you move over to a linear chart, actually is currently in a trading channel, an ascending trading channel. So I actually, in some of my notes I've had the last couple of days, have said we are either in an ascending wedge or a trading channel on Bitcoin. So that's actually Devrick Reyes. That's great. I actually think low key you could interpret this ascending wedge, rising wedge, also as an ascending trading channel. Either way, I think that there still is a lot of likelihood that it breaks to the upside and not traditionally the way rising wedges do to the downside.
There you go. Well, guys, if you're enjoying today's show, smash that like button. Let's see if we can't get to 1750 likes, and drop a 1 in chat if you are enjoying the show. And if you've told a friend about the show, drop a 7. I want to see how many of you guys are out there evangelizing the good word of coffee and crypto. Make sure to tell 10 friends if you're enjoying today's show. Tim, I got a question for you, buddy. We are going to go ahead and read. We're going to go ahead and do some discussion here on technicals and where the market's going. So let's go ahead and do it. Tim.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of new bearish signals flash on these charts that we hadn't seen 2 days ago. We've been very bullish on Bitcoin. You know that we're looking for a good October. To the new observer who hasn't been watching our show every single day, they might think that we're in for a massive crash, and they might be getting concerned. That's not what we're trying to convey. What's actually going on here, in your opinion?
Well, here's the thing. We were a little early on it because recently what we have seen is the technicals are really battling with a massively bullish sentiment right now. That does not mean, though, that they are completely off. It just means, actually, I think what's happening is a little bit delayed. I actually still think we're going to see a touchdown at least to 52. And I saw someone chat earlier. They're saying, oh, if we get to 52, we're in real trouble. I don't think so. I think 52 is a great place for us to come back down and touch, use for support before we go up again. Now, again, did I think it was going to happen way sooner than it's currently happening? And the truth is, it's not even happening yet. We're still at, what, 54,200?
Yeah, we're trading
we
sideways.
haven't even started coming down really that much yet. It's okay.
Yep.
Again, I would be massively happy. I would love for my technical analysis to be wrong and for Bitcoin just to go straight from here up to new all-time highs, get over 100,000. It's not going to stop me from looking at the charts and making reads. And what I think we're seeing is the longer we push it off doesn't change the fact that it's going to correct. It just changes when we correct.
Yeah.
And so that is one thing, again, I'm not a master of the perfect timing of reading when a price is going to do something, but more often than not, when the technicals say something, it ends up happening at some point. It just might not happen as soon or as late as we thought it would.
Yeah, and guys, look, I was new to cryptocurrency at one point also. It was 4 years ago I got in. If you don't know my story, I got into cryptocurrency July 31st, 2017, and I was a broke high school kid. Didn't know a thing about cryptocurrency. I was 17 years old, and I wanted to make a difference in my life. I've been hearing this term financial freedom thrown around on the internet for some time, and I didn't know what that word meant because I'd never experienced it. And I wanted that for myself and my father. And so I started working in cryptocurrency. And here's the deal. I really did get concerned several times. Like, I remember when Bitcoin hit $5,000 and I'd been in the space for literally a month. And I'm like, and I see it start dropping down to 3,000. I'm like, oh gosh, what's going on? And I freaked out. And then Bitcoin bounced and rallied to 20,000. I learned there a very valuable lesson. And that is, bearish technicals do not mean that I should freak out. Bearishness is not the enemy. Bearishness is a tool in the same way bullishness is a tool. It is a mindset. It is a way of looking at the market. It's not something that we should freak out about. It's something that we should use and understand. Look, this can be a good thing, this can be a bad thing, but at the end of the day, it is going to happen. We are going to have corrections. I remember $5,000, $50,000. Man, I wish we had $50,000 back then. I actually don't, because I would have been able to get less Bitcoin. Anyway, I digress. The point is, we went from $5,000 to $3,000, down 40%. My like $10 in Bitcoin, I lost $4. I'm like, oh no, my $4. I could have bought a Kit Kat with that. You know, I kind of freaked out a little bit. And I learned then there's no reason to freak out when we go into a correction. So look, there are reasons to believe that we might have a boring week. We might have a movement to the downside, 3, 5, 10%. If that freaks you out, it correcting will be the best thing that ever happened to you, because you know what? You need to have fists of steel. You got to have those diamond hands if you want to work in cryptocurrency. I believe the best time for somebody to get into cryptocurrency is a week before an all-time high and a massive bear market starts. That's basically what happened to me. I got in 3 months later. The Bitcoin market hit 20K, went into a massive bear market. The first 2 years I was in the space, Bitcoin was doing nothing. It steeled me. There's nothing that surprises me. There's nothing that scares me in crypto anymore, unless like the US tried to ban Bitcoin or something. Even then, it wouldn't scare me, because I've been through it. I've seen it, and it doesn't freak me out because I've got that experience. So if you're worried about Bitcoin and crypto because of the bearish technicals we're talking about, I just encourage you, don't be. We're perfectly fine. Everything's going to be just great. Smay, I want to hear your opinion on that too. What do you do you have anything to say to people that are newer to cryptocurrency and might be tempted to kind of freak out a little bit whenever it looks like we're going to move to the downside?
I mean, really, it's very simple, and I like that you asked me this, actually, because this is something that I've had to struggle with, because I am relatively new. And there's a lot of times where you feel like you just want the short term gain, and you get frustrated when it goes down, or you get scared. Honestly, guys, as long as you're following the fundamentals and you're confident that there's nothing catastrophic happening to the project that you're in, just hold, right? Just hold. And the longer you hold on, and I would even recommend, honestly, guys, as long as you're following the fundamentals, don't even worry about opening up your portfolio to check where it's at.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, that's one of the biggest things, is like, if you're checking your portfolio every 5 minutes,
that's called anxiety.
Yeah, you're gonna get freaked out.
Yep.
And you're probably gonna sell, or you're gonna try to take a quick profit if you're in profit. The longer term, like, look, literally, what have all the YouTubers been discussing? All the YouTubers, including us, have been discussing 100K Bitcoin in the next like 3 months.
Yep.
Right? So if you're thinking you're gonna sell at 60, or you're gonna sell at 50, or you're scared that we're dropping, you're gonna sell low at 40, or something. I'm not saying that we're going to 40, but what I'm saying is, guys, you're losing out on the opportunity to go to double the gain, right? So just hold.
Let's go, Turtle King. Let's go, man. Yeah, I remember when I got into crypto. Look, guys, I had the Coinbase app on my phone. Back then, I had all my cryptocurrency held in Coinbase back in 2017 when they had like 3 cryptocurrencies. And they just I remember I'd walk around, because I was dual enrolled at college. I was walking around the college campus here in town, Santa Fe Community College. I was walking around, and I'd just be looking at my phone the whole time, like, what is my $15.73 doing? Oh my gosh, it's $15.52. Crap, I'm going to lose all my money. It's like, that doesn't do anything. A wise man once told me that if you're depressed, you're looking at the past too much, and if you're anxious, you're worried too much about the future. Be in the moment. That's the only place you can live. You can't live in the past. That's gone. And you can't live in the future. It's not here yet. You can only live now, so pay attention to what's going on now. Tim, I got another question for you.
Well, I want to just say something.
Go ahead, Smay. Go ahead.
That's actually why, and I don't say that to say that, I actually genuinely don't have a single crypto app downloaded on my phone. I cannot see my portfolio on my phone or my iPad or anything, actually. I download it to buy, and then I delete it. So... yeah. Yep.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. It's like doing like a social media detox or something.
It's because I don't trust myself.
Yeah, well, Smay, actually, I was gonna ask Tim this question, and I still will, but I'm gonna ask you this question first. Smay, we've looked at a lot of short-term technicals, and we've also looked at a lot of very long-term fundamentals in this show, and we do every single day. How should a cryptocurrency investor balance their perspective when different analysis on different time frames seems to contradict? When we have things saying the next 3 months are going to be bullish and the next 7 days are going to be bearish, how do we balance that? How does an investor come to terms with what seemingly is a contradiction?
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm the most qualified to answer that question. What I would really say for me, and what I'll just speak for myself, is at the end of the day, if I'm confused about where I think something is going to go, it's better safe to just hold on to it and kind of ride that stallion than get fudded out of a project. So I mean, that's really, at the end of the day, that I'm not me personally, I'm not big into your trading a lot. I'm more of just a dollar cost average. I'm going to hold on and see where this goes. So, and obviously that's a strategy that if you want to be a trader, you go be a trader. I'm not really much of a trader. But no, that's one of the things. I just hold, hold through any of the FUD and the FOMO and all that. Just hold.
Tim, what do you think about it?
I talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago, how I'm a big believer in whatever you are doing in life, you need to have some form of a worldview that takes you into it. Sometimes it's actually not easy, or it's actually detrimental to just have a blank piece of paper and try to make a decision from it, right? You actually had to start from somewhere. Even in science, when they're studying theories, they have a worldview, they have a concept that they're wanting to see if it's true or not, but they're imagining, hey, let's pretend this is true. What's going to happen?
It guides their decision making. Yeah.
Same thing with crypto. If you are just in here saying, I have no previous context, I just am going to look at things, I'm going to look at news articles, and I'm going to look at what's happening in technical analysis, I'm going to look at on-chain metrics, you actually probably are not going to be that productive. You have to understand and have some sort of worldview or context coming into it. So when we see things conflicting, when we see things disagreeing with each other, because we see that all the time, how do you make an informed decision on how to move? Because guess what? If you pause and you stay still, that's not going to stop the whales. That's not going to stop the institutions. They're going to make moves, either bullish or bearish, because they have their mindset of what's happening. What you have to do is decide, what do I feel is the sentiment of the market? What do I see happening? What is my worldview going into how I make decisions? Because I can tell you right now, what my worldview is that we are in a season, and I think we're coming up out of it as we get to newer all-time, we're getting closer to all-time high. We're in a season of whale accumulation and manipulation, but we are on the upside. We're in bullish sentiment. So when I see something that contradicts each other, I have to look at it in light of the worldview of what is happening. What is the context of what we see happening on the charts? And when that's your solution, that helps bring a lot more clarity. When you talk about that long-term objective, hey, guess what? The price is going to go up and go down. Go and look at any bull run. Go back and look at any bullish price increase. It is not a linear line. It's not a straight line. There is lots of ups and there are lots of downs. The difference is the downs are just not, they keep getting higher and higher and higher, and the top's getting higher and higher and higher. Long term, we are in a bull run. There is so many reasons to believe, from technical analysis, from just looking at the fundamental analysis to looking on chain, that we are going up.
Yeah.
Have you ever, and I'm talking to the people that are, they love Bitcoin, but they realize that there's something deeper and a little bit philosophical about being successful in cryptocurrency. I think you'll see where I'm going with this. Have you ever watched someone that you admire and they are posed with what seems to be a very difficult decision, and they make it like that? They make it so fast. People call it decisiveness. But where does that come from? How do you get posed with a very, very difficult decision and the person doesn't even seemingly need to think about how they're going to respond? Well, building on what Tim just said about worldview, our company has something called the McAfee Way. It is the way that we make decisions. For example, one of the principles is long-term systems thinking. Whenever we're making a decision, we want to think about, how do we solve this problem, not for today, not how do we put a Band-Aid on it, but how do we put a systematic solution on it that will last the test of time. Another one is the love of people. Everything that we do it out of the love of people. Everything that I do because I love people. I love you guys. I love my staff. I love everybody, and I want to do what's best for them. That's the cornerstone of humility, is putting others before yourself and putting yourself after them. Pride, the enemy of that, is the root of all evil, and pride is what happens and the side effect of what happens whenever you put yourself before everyone else. The way that you make a decision that fast, which is very important because decisiveness is one of the key attributes of a leader, is by knowing the answer to a decision before you've even made it, because you can realize, wait a second, this question is actually answered through this part of my worldview, as Tim would put it, or of your way, however you want to say it. You remember the Mandalorian, this is the way, like that. That's what I'm talking about. What is your way? What is the way you make decisions? I make decisions based off of, does this provide more value to our customers and to our vendors and to our staff and to our viewers and to our subscribers and to our listeners than it provides to us? Am I giving them more than I am taking from them? If that question or that decision that is proposed to me even marginally looks like it's up that alley, then I'm going to immediately decide, boom, it provides more value to them than I'm asking for, and that is how I make a decision. I don't have to sit there and think about it for 15 minutes because I made the decision years ago. I am here to serve you guys. I encourage you, if you're in the cryptocurrency space, have a worldview, have a decision-making process. Understand that a lot of the decisions that you're going to make every single day are the same decision over and over and over and over again with a different skin on them. They're the same thing at their core. And the way that this ties back into Bitcoin is that you can either freak out every single time that Bitcoin has a small correction, or you can make a decision today, now, and forever that when Bitcoin corrects, I believe in these fundamentals. I believe in this space. I have faith in the future of crypto, and therefore I'm not going anywhere. I might manage my portfolio. I might move a little bit from Bitcoin to Ethereum, but I'm going to decide right now that the horse that I'm going to bet on is Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and this market. If you make that decision now and you stick with it, I think you're going to be very glad you did, and you're not going to be constantly asking yourself, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Make the decision and stick with it, and you'll be glad you did. With that said, we got time for literally one super chat.
Well,
let's pick a good one.
There's two.
Okay, two.
We have one, but we missed one earlier, and I don't know how we missed it, but we did. First one, I don't know if this is the actual name. I don't know if Shannon copy and pasted, but it says Al W. So I'm pretty sure we're misrepresenting that. But he just wanted to say thanks to the three musketeers, the three crypto musketeers. So thank you so much. Again, I don't think that's his name, Al W, but that's what I have in front of me. The other one from Sean Burns Jr., he left this a while ago, and somehow it just got lost. He said, at TA Tim, what happened to Altcoin Anonymous? That show is great. And Tim, who are you picking this weekend for Iowa or Penn State? So quick answer to the Altcoins Anonymous, that show's not done. It is just paused. I think the plan is to actually open that on Facebook here very soon. We just have some things we're working on as a company to provide you. Again, everything we do goes back to how do we provide the most value to you guys who listen and watch day in and day out. We want to continue to improve that. So strategically, the best move for us was actually to pause that show on YouTube, plan it even better, and create more value, and then release it again on Facebook here very soon. So look forward to that. That's a great segue to, if you are not following us on other social media platforms, make sure you go do it. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. What else?
No, I was going to say real quick. Also, just so you guys know, we didn't just pause the show just so we could move it to Facebook. We're pausing it so we can improve the show, and we have other projects that we're also working on that are just taking up a lot of our attention right now. But the show's going to come back and be better. And yeah, this is why you need to follow us on our social medias, because you never know what's going to happen to YouTube. We've seen it happen with other YouTubers that they got their channel removed, and we don't want that to happen to us. We want to diversify a little bit. So make sure you guys are supporting us on our other platforms as well.
End of that question: Penn State or Iowa? I'm going Iowa. They've destroyed people. Penn State has some close games. I think it's about Penn State's time to have a bad game. Iowa looks dominant. I actually am picking Iowa to win the entire Big Ten. So.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. That's all we got for you today. If you enjoyed today's show, smash that like button and go tell 10 of your friends about the show, because we go live 9:30 Eastern every single day, and we want to come at you and bring you what you need to know so that you can become financially free in these markets. We come at you every single day with core values of integrity and humility, and because we care about you guys, we come and we show you what we know on cryptocurrency markets. So tell your friends if you think that this is a show that they would gain value from. Remember, this show is sponsored by one of our affiliates, which is Lux Algo. That is a phenomenal product that I am using every single day in my technical analysis. And if you want to get access to it, you can find the link down below. Use coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B. You're only going to find that coupon code here on this channel, and you'll get 20% off at checkout. It is an awesome indicator, and you're not going to want to miss out on it. It's been incredibly helpful in our journey here. That's all I got for you today, guys. Make sure to follow us on our social media. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.